If you don't know anything about Newsmax, it is a Republican propaganda joint. That way, these right wing racist rubes and reprobates can go on and spit their verbal diarrhea in the mouth, lying and gaslighting to the very people that watches that network. Okay. Um, for a group of people that, claim to be so called superior, you know, they will cry and whine and bitch and moan whenever something happens to them. It's a classic case of when the hit dog will holler. Now, in this, we have a situation here where we have Greg Kelly, Newsmax anchor and accused rapist. Yeah, Greg Kelly was accused of rape back in 2012, and he is the son of a former New York Police Department commissioner and a staunch racist. What's up, Tyler Brown? So last Monday, this dimwit went on his little right wing propaganda toilet and he had some comments about Donald Trump in comparison to Emmett Till. So before I get into my commentary about the matter, I want to play you a clip from that infamous episode. DJ, spin that shit.
This is a jury of his peers, a jury of fellow New Yorkers, as he is.
All right, you see? A jury did it. A jury. That's a jury of his peers. Number one, he doesn't have any peers. He's a former president. It is a unique position constitutionally. We really do have impeachment for offenses by him. That was an appropriate forum. They did it often enough, right? But not.
Now, look, he would go ahead and grandstand about how all this stuff was unfair to him and this wasn't a jury of his peers because he was a former president, right? But they don't not one time delve into the contents of the case. It was a classic case of, well, a verdict came out that we didn't like, so we're going to cry foul about it. This is the kind of stuff that gets put out here on the airwaves. Now, you would think after, they got sued by Dominion and Smartmatic along with Fox News, they would stop this stupidity. But instead, they want to keep on doubling down on stupid. And then let's continue on with this diarrhea of the mouth.
Not this, but you notice, like, a jury of his peers. A jury did it. A jury did it. I've heard that excuse before. Emmett Till, young man beaten to death all the way back in the 1950s. What did he do? He said hello to a white woman, something like that. And an all-white mob beat him to death. And 3 people, I believe, were arrested. And the jury said, we don't see no problem here, and let him go, right? A jury of the accuser's peers found nothing to see here. So a jury, I'm told, gets it wrong sometimes. Seems to be a lot of people who think that a lot of murderers were let free that day. All right, so we've seen this before. All right, so.
All right. It should go without saying that what Emmett Till had to go through versus what Donald Trump had to go through is not even one and the same. Yet another case of white supremacy trying to take both sides of the conversation. Now, this funky white supremacist that you see on your thumbnail is going to fix his mouth to say that Trump and Emmett Till's situations are one and the same. So let me get this straight. We have a black kid who had a false allegations labeled onto him, right? From Carolyn Bryant, because she came out 60 years later and said that she made the whole thing up and she got to live out the rest of her days. So may Carolyn Bryant rest in peace, as far as I'm concerned. Matter of fact, Carolyn Bryant can rest in the piss of a Komodo dragon because she don't even deserve human piss. But anyway, how could they be one and the same? Was Donald Trump beaten? Was Donald Trump mutilated? Was Donald Trump tortured? Did Donald Trump get shot somewhere? Did Donald Trump have his body floating in the Tallahatchie River? How could you fix your freaking mouth to even compare Donald Trump to Emmett Till? You doofus. He's sitting up here talking about, oh, there was nothing to see here, in a feeble attempt to taint the jury. That's what it's all about. This was a feeble attempt to taint the jury. So let me get this straight. A man who was convicted by a jury of his peers of cooking the books to make it look like he didn't pay off a porn star, and then you had that same porn star go on TV destroying Donald Trump. Every chance she got, she destroyed him. And he got convicted on 34 counts. And he still is running around here all over the country campaigning for president. He's being persecuted, but yet he's trying to be president of the same government that's persecuting him. Make it make sense. And then you want to compare Donald Trump being found guilty to a black kid who was from Chicago, going out of town, and never made it back to Chicago because these racists are here. Because a false allegation from a white woman led to this teenage kid being beaten, brutalized, and mutilated. And you want to compare Emmett Till to Donald Trump. There's some things I really want to say right now, but I'm in a public setting, so I got to watch my language. So I'm going to have to give my uncut version of this on the Patreon. I got to give my uncut version of this on the Patreon. You are a dum-dum. You are this clumsy attempt to try to put these two situations that have absolutely nothing to do with each other together. So what did the jury get wrong, Greg Kelly? Huh? What did the jury get wrong, you dum-dum? Of all the racism that went on in Mississippi, meanwhile, they still protecting Brett Favre. Brett Favre still out here, ain't got tried, ain't got convicted, ain't even got charged with all that money he stole out there. Why don't you talk about that, Greg Kelly? But that just goes to show you that you ain't nothing but a stone cold racist and an alleged rapist. But this ain't the first time that Trump's Foot Clan members have likened his criminal charges and trials with witch hunts, pegging the former president as an innocent martyr facing the unjust system. No, the only people that's facing the unjust system are black folks. Black folks are the one getting crimes projected onto them, and they're doing damn near life in prison before newfound evidence comes out and say, "Oh, he wasn't the guy the whole time." And then you got these governors out here in these red states changing up the laws to where the people who did all these time in jail for crimes they didn't commit can't even sue to get money off of it. But you got this goof running his verbal diarrhea in the mouth on TV. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we all know how much of an ardent supporter she is of Trump, right? Let's see what she had to say when it compared to Donald Trump being a martyr. DJ, spin that shit.
Some of the most incredible people in history being arrested today. Nelson Mandela was arrested, served time in prison. Jesus was arrested and murdered by the Roman government. There have been many people throughout history that have been arrested and persecuted by radical, corrupt governments. And it's beginning today in New York City. And I just can't believe it's happening, but I'll always support him. He's done nothing wrong.
And then she was at a rally out in Vegas. We know all those people walked out a Trump rally talking about how Jesus Christ is a convicted felon. And she likened Jesus Christ to Donald Trump, as you saw in that clip. Then you had Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, back in 2019 said this about Donald Trump. DJ, spin that shit.
I want to set the table for us resolving this issue in a way that achieves his objectives to secure the border, end the humanitarian security crisis, end the government shutdown, but also to bring together the Democrats' priorities to accomplish that. That's what the American people expect us to do. And honestly, the hearts and minds of the American people today are thinking a lot about it being the weekend where we remember the life and work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King was, "Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy." You think of how he changed America. He inspired us to change through the legislative process to become a more perfect union. That's exactly what President Trump is calling on the Congress to do. Come to the table in a spirit of good faith. We'll secure our border, we'll reopen the government, and we'll move our nation forward, as the president said yesterday, to even a broader discussion about immigration reform in the months ahead.
So it just goes to show you that these guys operate out the same playbook. And these guys have no problems throwing us into the equation when it comes to one of them getting their butts in the crack. But when we're sitting up here demanding and pushing the line for reparations, what do we get told? We get told that, oh, y'all need to move on because that was in the past and all that. And this is a new day, and that there ain't no racism in America. All that stuff y'all saying about that, y'all need to let it go. We need to move forward. What good does it do looking back in the past? That's the kind of stuff we get told. But they can feel the need to lump whatever atrocity the black community is going through into their little BS. And it's disgusting. And that is gross misconduct and is unacceptable. I tell you all the time that these guys don't like being told the truth. The racist rubes and reprobates that watches Newsmax and OAN and Fox News and whatever other right-wing toilet would be Charlie Kirk and or Nick Fuentes, that punk bitch. But anyway, all them clowns that watch those right-wing nut toilets don't want to be told the truth. They want to be fed their proverbial red meat, and the people that serve that slop and watch the racist rules slurp up that slop know that. They know that. That's why they do it. They're keeping the meter running. And these racist groups out there that want to be fed their little slop will gladly give up their last dollar. Now, mind you, these people out here that are being fed this slop will support these guys all day long. The only problem is the feeling is not mutual. Because, see, the one thing that these media members and these politicians on the right, the one thing they hate more than the Democrat is their very own supporters. They treat their own supporters like marks. They wouldn't be caught dead or alive in some of these towns that these groups who rub elbows, who supports them, be at. Wouldn't be caught nowhere near where they at. And here they are running their mouth about black people all the damn time. They hate us so much, but yet we live in their head rent free. Every time something going on, the black community always get lumped into it. Now, what the hell did Emmett Till got to do with Donald Trump paying off porn stars, you dum-dum? Huh? Answer that question. What the hell does Emmett Till has to do with Donald Trump being convicted on 34 counts of cooking the books? Huh? You live in fantasies, boy, I want to say what I want to say. But you live in fantasies, we reject your deposit. This man cooked the books to pay off a porn star. That's what he got guilty of. This man ain't even in jail. You got Lamar Whitehead in jail right now. And he did stuff on a lower scale. The bishop out of New York. He committed crimes on a lower scale, and he's in prison. Trump out here trying to overthrow the government. Trump out here cooking the books to pay off porn stars, and yet he campaigning for president. Make it make sense. But the system is persecuting him, right? He's a political prisoner. Make it make sense, Greg Kelly. And I have no good faith, because I'm purely speculating here, that your pappy has something to do with you not going to jail for rape. Now, you keep your mouth closed when it comes to us black folks. As far as I'm concerned, a guy like Greg Kelly needs to know his role and shut his mouth. What's up, Trey? Damn clown. Damn idiot buffoon. Greg Kelly, you make me sick. Anyway, you guys let me know what y'all think about this, man. Thank everybody for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. And I'm going to get into the raw, uncut version on the Patreon because, like I said, I'm in a public setting and I don't want to, say what I really want to say. So if you're not subscribed to my Patreon, the sports political channel LB on the Patreon, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Oh!